Hi, my name is Brenda and I'm here today to talk to you about the Take 5 quilt. I was looking for a nice simple little quilt pattern in order to give to my niece for a birthday present. And I just wanted something that I could just put lots of fun colors on it. I know she's 3, she's gonna drag it around outside. It's gonna be on the floor with her and her puppy, and it'll be lots of fun. So I also was looking for a pattern because I have some other quilts. I love to do quilts for to give to people when we're sitting around the campfire, or just to have for a quick gift to give people, and found this Take 5 is a wonderful pattern for that purpose. At Laurie's Country Cottage, she has a tool called an AccuCut, and the AccuCut comes with a lot of different dies that she has, and the one we're going to use today is the Take 5 die. The Take 5 die cuts the 8.5 inch square, the 4.5 by 8.5 rectangle, and then 3 4.5 inch squares. And if you notice when you're looking at it, the die is a little off-centered, and the reason that it's off-centered is so that it pulls the fabric through straighter. And so we want to make sure, though, that when we lay the fabric down on top, we keep the fabric so that it's on straight grain. So if you're wondering why I'm lining it up like this and hanging one end hanging over, it's to make sure that I've got it straight. So I'm just going to take a quick peek and go, yep, that's good. And then just double check that I've got the fabric covering the cut lines here, and that I've got the fabric covering here. So I then take and put the plastic template over top, and I slide it forward, and I turn this, and I will always turn it the wrong way because that's just me. And there we go. And it'll just start feeding it through. And it's actually not bad to do. As you can tell, I was wheeling that pretty quickly. And then I take the plastic template off, and now I can just, I've got a few cuts here that didn't go all the way through. So I would just sort of go and clean up wherever it just kind of. Today I'm going to be showing you the Take 5. And with this quilt that I did behind me, since it's a child size, it's 3 squares by 4 squares, so I needed 12 squares. Since I'm working with 5 fabrics, I cut 3 squares out of each fabric, and I actually sewed all 15 squares together. And the reason I did that is it made it way easier then at the end when I'm trying to place it. I had a couple extra to play with. So what we do is once we've got it cut, we use the AccuCutter, and we've got it cut like this. What we now have to do is we have to shuffle them. So I'll take one of the fabrics and I'll put it on the bottom. Then I'll take 2 and I'll put them on the bottom. Then the next time I take 3 of the fabrics, I don't know if you could see that I took 3 and put them on the bottom. And then the last time I take 4 fabrics and put the 5th one on the top and the other 4 towards the bottom. So now I have a different fabric for each one. I also want to just shuffle this because you can tell looking at the pattern over here. Here's our square, and then we've got a 4.5 inch, and then the rectangle, and then one of the 4.5s and another 4.5s. So this is the layout that you sew them together. So then once I've got them like this, I start sewing them together. So the first that I sewed was I ended up putting these 2 and sewed them together. And then I sewed the rectangle and a flower together. And on this block, it would have a peachy colored center. Always make sure that you have one of each fabric showing on the top. Then the next time, I would sew one of my squares to my 2 smaller squares, and I would sew the rectangle to the other one. Oh, sorry, I already had that sewn together. And then my final one, I sew this, oops, I flipped this one, bad me. I sewed the squares and the rectangle and the square all together to make one unit. When you're pressing it, I read the instructions and it didn't really say, but I was just sort of pressing to the one that had the least amount of seams or this is how I ended up pressing it. And I was consistent throughout and had no problems with my piecing, like when I started to actually place them together in the quilt. So that's really all there is to making a Take 5 quilt. It's very simple. It doesn't take very long to sew the squares. In the pattern, it shows you, it gives you your yardage and tells you how many squares of each one you need in order to make either a child size, a lap quilt, a twin, a queen, or a king. So there's lots of different options in here, and it would make a wonderful present for someone. And it's just a fun way to use up those fabrics that have lots of prints that you just never really sure what to do with. So thank you.